Now if we're laying some scores in correct score, we can also lay with insurance against a 0-0 result. Now all we need to do is lay our scores, but don't lay 0-0. So here I've got some scores in for under 2.5 goals, which are the scores of 0-0, 0-1, 0-2, 1-0, 1-all and 2-0. If you bet or lay those, they are the under 2.5 goals, and all the other scores such as 1-2 and 1-3 and 2-1 etc., they are added together for over 2.5 goals. So this is again the Arsenal-Newcastle game where we might be expecting quite a few goals. So we might want to lay under 2.5 goals, and then as a goal or two are scored, also lay over 2.5 goals to Dutch the whole market and make a profit. Alternatively, we might wait until a goal is scored, and instead of laying over 2.5 goals, we might just simply bet the scores that we've still got left in play. Now if we go ahead and just put all those 6 lays in, if the game remains 0-0, we're looking at a sizable loss on 0-0. So all we need to do is don't lay 0-0, so I'll get rid of that. Now if we lay all these other scores, if the game stays at 0-0, we have a profit at 0-0 from all these successful lays. And if a goal goes in, or a goal or a couple of goals, we can still lay over 2.5 goals, but we haven't got quite as much laid on under 2.5 goals. Okay, so as you know, if you've watched the previous video, you'll know that 2 goals went in very quickly at 14 minutes and 17 minutes to get the score to 1-all, which is very convenient of course for this demonstration. So let's see what we could have done at that point. Now unfortunately, when I was watching this game, I didn't write down the odds for over 2.5 goals, but we can work them out roughly. At just after the second goal at 17 minutes, the odds for 1-all were odds of 14. So if we just put those in the sheet for now there. Now as there's been 2 goals scored and the score is at 1-all, all these other scores are out of play now, so 1-all is the only score that's left in. So these current odds of 1-all for 1-all are the only odds for under 2.5 goals at the moment. So though that percentage there is equal to the under 2.5 goals, so to make that up to more or less 100% buck, we need odds about 93% to go with that 7.14. So if I input odds of 1.09 in there, that gives us about 99% there. So the odds for over 2.5 goals must have been somewhere around 109. So just delete those. So if we wanted to Dutch the whole lot, we could then put lay over 2.5 goals at 1.09, and if we laid that in over 2.5 goals, we'll then be nice and green against everything. Now Dutching is not usually quite as efficient as hedging, so if we didn't want to do that and lose commission across both markets, we could simply bet bet 1-all, and we should get a similar result with quite a little bit more profit. So we'll just delete that now. Now the odds for 1-all just after 17 minutes were bet at 14, and that if we'd put that bet on at 14 for £14.29, our whole trade across that single score of 1-all will give us a profit of £1.71. Now all these other scores have all gone nil. It can't get back to 0-1, 0-2 or 1-0 or 2-0 because the score has gone to 1-all. So if we bet out at that one single score and make £1.71 on that part of the trade, the whole trade then is all green at £51.90. after commission. So what you would see in your Betfair screen is 54.63, but after commission at 5%, somewhere around £51.90 against all possible scores. Now if we go back a bit, and so remember £51.90, and just get rid of that one, and we put that 109 in there. You'll see that by the time we've traded across the two markets, you finish up with 41.23 in that market, and that's under. If it finished up at 1-all, we finish up with 43.23 in the under 2.5 goals part of this trade that we've done in correct score. And if it was more than 1-all, we would finish up with £48.96 after commission, which is a bit different from the £51 or so that we saw earlier. Now once you've completed your trade, what you'll see in correct score is big red against your lays, but don't forget you've got this other big lay in the over and under market, so that puts you into profit. And in the under and over market, you'll see a smaller red against over 2.5 goals, but don't forget we've got all these other successful lays in under, in your on your under 2.5 goal scores. So combining the two, we see a profit in both markets, which is what Betfair can't show. So that's a way of ensuring against a nil-nil game. Is to simply lay your other scores, whatever they are, to make up your market that you're trading, and simply leave out 0-0 and trade on from there. Now unfortunately, insurance, whether you're betting or laying, costs a little bit more. In this case we didn't have that extra lay on 0-0 to complete our trade. If we'd put them odds back in at 21, which they were earlier, you see the profit would have been bigger without that insurance lay removed. It would have been 52.75 instead of 43.23. So insurance is a little bit more expensive than taking a gamble and just trading without insurance. Okay, good luck with that.